Maybe if we let trans people transition, we can avoid all this talk about not safe for work because there's a little bit of titty showing.
Okay, this is what I want to talk more about in this video. Why do people who have it easy make it harder on themselves? Because honestly, when you take a step back, that is what all of this truly is.
I have a message specifically for cis white women allies, okay? I wasn't gonna be so specific, but I thought about it, and you guys are literally the only people who do this shit. Tell me why, at work, all the time, I get people going, she. Oh, I'm sorry, I just don't know how to pronounce. She, that one whose pronouns, that weird, that queer one.
And the award for that never happened goes to... Yeah. Stop lying. No one, especially a supposed straight cis woman ally, said that one queer over there, the ugly one. You have a job, you have a home, you live in a country where you are generally safe to be who you are, according to the law at all times. You have it better than 90% of the world, probably 95% of the world. You're likely never gonna see these people again. You say that you know who you are. So why aren't you choosing that aspect to focus on instead of being upset? And that's what I want to talk about in this video. Why is it that whenever we are more at peace, we decide to choose more chaos? Maybe not we, maybe it's them, they, thee.
First of all, look with your eyes. Why do you need to make it so weird whenever you don't know someone's pronouns? Ask, who helped you today? What are your pronouns? They, them. I do not need...
This reminds me of that meme, I'm gonna put it on screen right here, of, you know, the two different versions of no one cares. Always choose the second one. Even if this isn't actually the truth, it is mentally and emotionally the healthier option. I know this is hard for you to hear, because of the narcissism aspect of all this, but most of the time people actually aren't thinking about you and your life. They are just doing their best, going on their own way, living their own life, dealing with their own shit. And you know, there's a very specific magical feeling when you truly realize that you can't control other people's emotions or reactions, especially to you. The only thing that you can control is you.
Nobody's mad. Nobody's mad. Everything is fine. Just a little sad.
Ready? With chest bump, but with Houston in the middle.
Oh, that's good for me.
Okay, ready?
Honestly, as annoying as this video was to watch, at the very least, at least I could say that these people are kind of learning to self-soothe. I mean, hopefully they already learned the lesson of not allowing other people to validate them or invalidate them. The reason I speak about this so often is because society at large, but especially LGBT people or queer people, are suffering. Somehow they are suffering way more now when we are more accepted than before, which is a major red flag. We have equal rights. We have general acceptance in society. Why are these people more miserable? Why are they choosing, again, chaos over peace?
I was in Walgreens for less than 5 minutes, and this man comes around the corner, and the second I see him, all of my alarm bells are ringing. He flags my radar, so I leave the aisle. I do what I'm supposed to in my DNA, and I get the out. And you know what he does? He comes up to me and he goes, well, don't you got a lot going on? I said, have a nice day. And I continued to walk. And he put his hand like right here on my shoulder to kind of like stop me. And so I flipped my arm back and I was like, what the I'll punch you in the throat. What in the world makes you think, you old decrepit skeleton?
Did you unalive him? Is that him? Is that him in the back seat?
That you can put your hands on me. Because you want to get a better look at my you pierce your nose in North Idaho and all of a sudden you're a zoo animal. And then I walk out of the aisle after I threaten to punch him in the throat, and he walks up to the front desk to the two old bitches, and these stupid old that are working the register are consoling him. They're saying, how dare they be like big and dark, I think is what they called me. And like take up so much space and expect not to be stopped and talked to about my appearance.
I just want to take note on how these older women described her as big and dark. I can't tell how big this person is from the video, but I can see some darkness that they are clearly working through. Of course, it's not okay for some random man to touch you, but is it helping your mental and emotional well-being to absolutely flip your like this. Now, there are many ways that we see this constantly happening, especially in minority communities. One super common one is allowing someone to wreak complete havoc upon you for misgendering you.
I just need to put it out there, like, I'm so over my day-to-day life where people cannot gender me correctly. And the worst part is the people that aren't gendering me correctly are people that know that I'm trans and know that I'm going through transition.
Okay, so now just like, let's be clear here. We have two choices. Number one, get angry, make a TikTok about it, and possibly get validated or invalidated by the external world. Or two, let stupid shit like this go. Especially if people are purposefully trying to upset you. Are they really worth your time, your energy? You guys really have to learn how to intentionally disconnect from the drama, from the bullshit, from the hurt.
And know that, like, they know how important it is to properly gender me, but yet I'm still being... Trans girls, if you're seeing this, please comment down below. When people call you they, them, does that not bother the shit out of you? Because do I look like a they, them?
Again, you can't help what others see. You simply can know yourself, you can know your worth, and you can let all the rest of the bullshit fall behind you. And listen, I completely do understand how exhausting it must be to go through some sort of a transition in your life, right? I've gone through many myself. But half of the transition, pun intended, is letting go of the shit that's holding you back. This is one of those things.
Something's not clicking in your mind. Like, I hate to be so hateful and so like this, like, I'm not a negative person, but like it starts to whittle you down. You can only take so much.
All right, here's a different way to think about this, because contrary to what leftists believe, I actually do give a about transsexual people. Is it truly too much, or is it only heavy because you've decided to keep carrying it? It's a big lesson in there. And honestly, this person is the master of carrying it.
It looks like he's having a nice feast.
She, her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all good.
But it was not all good.
Hi. I use she, her pronouns. I'm not sir. Yeah, like it's like a knife in the heart. I did specifically ask ahead of time not to be called sir. Yeah, I'm just gonna go.
And I know a lot of people are going to comment this video and say, you know, if it's truly hurting this person that much, why are they going and posting it online for the world to see? Potentially constantly reminding yourself of that pain and hurt, and potentially showing it to millions of people online. And while I understand that perspective, I also, again, think that these people are choosing to create more chaos rather than live in their own peace. And what will cause more chaos? Posting the video online, getting a ton of hate comments, starting comment wars, getting hate, getting love, getting validation, getting invalidation. It's all creating chaos. Another way people are choosing to create more chaos and bring more chaos into their lives is by putting themselves into distinct categories that they do not belong to.
The proof of Jesus being a trans man is Immaculate Conception. The only DNA available to make a child within Mary was just Mary's chromosomes. So the only chromosomes that were available to create a baby were X chromosomes, i.e., Jesus was born with at least one X chromosome, but no Y chromosome. And since you need to have two chromosomes, it's more than likely those were both X's. Jesus was not a trans man. Saying that he was is not going to gain you more acceptance from the general world. Like, let's be real. It's just pissing them off. This all comes down to, once again, these kids not truly accepting themselves. You can be yourself. You can be a valid human with real experience without needing to bring someone else into it to validate your own. Remember, speaking your truth doesn't mean speaking your ego.
Kurt Cobain was probably trans. Here's why. First off, Kurt wore a lot of women's clothing. And when asked about this, they replied that they wore dresses all the time because they felt comfortable and free. And just look at Kurt in these pictures. They look so happy.
God, I mean, using someone else's possible situation to validate your own feelings about your situation is not a proper healing technique, kid. It ain't the way. One last way out of the many that I've noticed. Gaslighting. Gaslighting yourself and gaslighting others. Truly being accepting of yourself and your situation means you don't have to lie about it. Trans women claiming that they get periods, people seeing hate where it simply isn't, because it's easier to blame someone else for how you're feeling rather than how your own internal self of well-being is. This person actually nails it.
Can someone please explain to me what about this screams, "Please call me ma'am when you speak to me"?
Oh, sweet summer child. You knew not what you know now. Just for the sake of it being 1 year since I made that video, I'm gonna do that again. Can someone please explain to me what about this screams, "Please call me ma'am when you speak to me"?
Part of accepting yourself as you are is knowing how you might show up to others in the world. And it might not be how you see yourself, right? But it is a part of your true acceptance. And honestly, know that how you see yourself or how others see you isn't who you really are anyway. It is just a judgment that changes over time. Think about it. If I was feeling a certain way about myself a few years ago and now that feeling has changed, does that mean that the older version of me wasn't the real me? You are always you. You are just here to learn and grow. And learning and growing just simply creates a higher form of consciousness, right? Not a different soul, not a different energy, a more conscious version of it. And understanding this is a huge learning curve. Now that we know how people create chaos in their lives, let's take a second to learn about why. And I think there are three main reasons for this. Number one, familiarity. People usually stick to what is familiar to them. Not necessarily what feels good or right, but what feels familiar. It's a comfort zone thing. It's why so many people stay in abusive or broken or no longer sexually active or romantic relationships, or staying in jobs that they absolutely hate. And when you're miserable and your energy is depleted, your mind goes back into a performative state. You're just doing the things. You're not quite ready to take on the bigger step of actually diving deep into your issues.
The only masculine piece of clothing that I have that fits me is a bow tie. And that's still true 3 years later, despite trying to get custom clothes, even saving up and investing in trying to get a couple of custom made shirts. Turns out, not only am I super fat and I have the body of a super fat person who's on HRT, and so a classic masculine shirt even in big and tall sizes doesn't fit me properly.
I'm gonna go ahead and assume that there are in fact many ways for this person to go ahead and do their best to get rid of this problem. Lose weight, eat better. Why are they choosing to stay this way? And that gets me to number two, past pain, trauma, and feeling connected to those things, thinking that that is who you are. And this is a big one. It is also something that I've been guilty of in the past. Constantly seeing myself as a very anxious person instead of a beautiful soul that happens to have an anxiety disorder. I started to believe that all of my problems were stemming from that one issue, when that simply was not true. The reason it was so hard for me to let it go was because I found myself attaching part of my identity to that problem. I became so obsessed with defending myself and my sickness to others, and that made it incredibly difficult to let go of. Number three, the illusion of not having a choice. We might not have a choice in how we feel, but we certainly do have a choice in the way we react to those feelings. Creating more chaos surrounding a situation is always a choice.
If you are being gay and you're not also doing crime, then personally, I am not gonna clock you as queer.
Oh my gosh, whatever will I do? Because I am not a criminal. Wow.
You have a choice in this world to live more in peace or to create chaos. You have new situations every day and always are given room to either accept things as it is or choose to grow. One of my favorite statements by a spiritual advisor friend of mine that I follow is, accept all situations as if you have chosen it. Listen, the current situation that you're in is gonna exist anyway, so you might as well come at it from a position of power compared to victimhood. Being in a state of complete peace might sound more difficult, but is it really? What comes more natural to you? And I'm gonna be completely real with you. It started to affect me as well, and I had to take a step back from the videos I was posting and say to myself, am I creating more chaos or bringing more peace? Am I making a point or am I making a difference? What type of person do I want to be? And the truth is, I want to awaken more people's consciousness. So keep this in mind as I continue to post more videos on this channel. If you are not subscribed, make sure to subscribe and click the like button down below. And also, if you haven't, I have been posting a ton of content that you've never seen before on my TikTok. Link to that also in the description below. Other than that, I will see you guys back here next Sunday with a brand new video. Until then, I love you. Keep calling out the bullshit. Bye.